Hello, welcome to another episode of Million Dollar Media. I'm your host, Max Kellerhalls, and today I don't have anybody with me. It's just going to be another solo video. I haven't done this one in a while, but I think you guys will enjoy it. Today we're going to be talking about Avatar: The Way of Water. I'm just going to say right off the bat, I really enjoyed this movie. I thought it was a very fun experience at the movie theater. Now, keep in mind, I did see this movie in 3D and on ultra screen at Marcus Cinema. No paid promotion, just wanted to tell how I saw the film. And I think that ultimately did help in my enjoyment of the movie because I got to really experience seeing the movie how it was intended. I think what's going to be the ultimate detriment to this film going forward is that seeing it on a smaller screen is not going to be as enjoyable as seeing it on the big screen. So if you can, try to go and see this in theaters as soon as possible. But when it comes to home video, I think that it's going to be a good movie, but it's not going to be the same. My thoughts on the first film was it didn't really wow me as it did other people. I think it's a technologically great and it's a beautiful looking movie. However, I didn't really care about any of the characters. I didn't really give a shit about the main character specifically. I thought the Na'vi were cool, but nothing to write home about. My thoughts and criticisms are the same as every other critic on the YouTube or otherwise. I've never seen Ferngully, but people say it's like Ferngully, so I take their word for it. However, that's the first movie. I think this movie is better. With James Cameron hiring new writers to come in and work on his next 4 other Avatar movies he wants to do, I think it's good that he did that because the writing is a lot better in this movie than it was in the first movie. Like, I actually cared about everybody in this film. I liked Jake Sully. I liked Natiri. I like all of their kids. I think from what I can remember is the Taeyam, Loak, Kiri, and the little girl that I forgot her name. 3 out of 4, good enough. Then they have the little human white guy, Spider, who I thought was a really cool addition. I didn't know if I was gonna like it from the trailer because I didn't understand it how it all worked, but in the movie it makes sense. You do have to reach a bit in that this human boy is going to toe to toe, or not toe to toe, but like being able to keep up with the Navi. Otherwise, what this film is ultimately about is that family group has to move away from their traditional Navi tribe of the forest people, and they have to go out and find a new tribe to live with and basically keep safe from the new human invaders who also bring back a familiar face from the past. Yeah, it's not good for them. So most of the movie has to deal with this family unit having to come in and find a completely new custom and culture that they're not used to. And also their bodies are not used to because every Navi here is adapted to the water, while they're as adapted to the trees and the forest. So they're having to learn how to adapt to their new environment. And I thought all that was really interesting because it's just neat to learn this different alien culture. The sea life is so beautiful. I thought the action was good. It's not as epic as the first, but I think that's a good thing because it's a more personal story with this family unit, but it still has epic qualities. But it's not like multiple airships. There's a ground war going on. Animals coming in and defeating all the wildlife coming in, the planet fighting them back. This one is more a boat and some mini boats and maybe a giant whale. But the way they incorporated the film still makes it a very fun and epic blockbuster that I think that a lot of people should see. If I had any negatives, it's hard to say because knowing that this is going to be like a new franchise, there's a lot of things in this movie that they just don't answer right away, and I'm okay with that. But it's just a little nitpick if I had any negatives because I don't really have any big negatives. There wasn't like any like thing in this movie that just made me want to say I'm done. I don't like this anymore. I thought the whaling message was really interesting. I thought all the actors were really good. I liked. I think my favorite had to be the younger brother. I thought he just brought a lot of heart to the movie that was definitely needed, and he's definitely the main character of this film. He's the one who goes on the major arc of this film. You would think it'd be Jake Sully, but it's nice to see that it's his kid now and how he has to live up to not only his older brother but his dad, and I thought that was really interesting dynamic, and it definitely gave the film something a little more human, even though these characters are not ultimately human. James Cameron, of course, he's a master of all of his craft. It's funny because every time I hear that he was trying to do these Avatar movies, I was like, Avatar. I don't care about that. Like, this is where James Cameron's finally gonna show his like cards and like, he's not gonna do it. No, he nails it out of the park again. Even though like this isn't like gonna be my favorite film of 2022, I think that is definitely going to be up there in my top 10 because it was definitely a really fun experience. I definitely want to go back to the theater with either my friends or my family and definitely see what they think about it because I think this one is a very fun community wide experience. I don't really have much else to say. I'm looking forward to where this franchise is going. That's the first time I've ever said that about Avatar, at least. So the movie sold me on leaving me wanting more, but still being satisfied. I guess I could talk a little bit about spoilers real quick. So if you have not seen this movie, please sign off now. First spoiler I want to go into is the villain. It was really cool that they finally are playing with this idea of these avatars and that all the soldiers and bad guys that were like the more known ones are back in this film because they kind of retconned it to be at the end of the first film. They made them get a brain scan, and with that brain scan, they basically implanted their memories up until that point they got the scan and put them in new avatar bodies, in these Navi blue bodies. So all of these like bad guys are who hated the Navi and were like, "Oh, exterminate them," are now Navi, and it's really weird seeing these like traditional native-looking Navi with like that typical James Cameron style soldier getup. And I thought that was really interesting, like just seeing this like these blue cat people with like tattoos, sunglasses. It was also weird seeing Stephen Lane's voice come out of one of those things because I'm so used to him from that first movie. Like he's my favorite part of that first movie, just how villainous he is, and he definitely brings it back here. That was my favorite part of this new movie, just that whole dynamic with him and his son. It brought this dynamic of this Navi person now wanting to be human again, and this human boy wanting to be Navi, but the dad he does not like is now Navi. So it's this weird relationship that they have, and I thought the film played on that really well. That's the thing I'm taking away from this film, that family dynamic between those two. And yeah, another element that I said was a nitpick of mine, Kiri, the character of Kiri. I'm interested to see where this goes. Personally, I don't like the idea of Sigourney Weaver playing this 14-year-old. I love Sigourney. I just think that they should have hired a 14 or younger actress to play this character and just give her the Sigourney Weaver look. Because there's plenty of actresses. Even in this movie, there's a ton of new talent. I just think that it is weird hearing an older woman's voice come out of someone that clearly looks 14. They kind of did something to it, but just knowing that that's Sigourney Weaver took me out. Now, if you didn't know that, I'm interested to see if it bothered you, but it definitely bothered me. Yeah, just leave it in the comments if what you thought about that character. But another thing about that character is I'm interested to see where they take it because it's almost like this new Rey from The Force Awakens kind of thing for me, where it's a really interesting idea of what is up with this character, why does she have all these powers, and I just hope that it's a satisfying answer because I've been burned once by a very popular sci-fi franchise. I just hope that they give us something worth it. Personally, at the moment, I don't think there was a dad. I think whenever in the first movie Sigourney is about to mind meld with her avatar form, something happened where this entity impregnated that avatar form so that she can still kind of live on. This process was doing somewhat well, and you did see in that first movie she did get sucked up into something. In the first movie, it's just implied that she just died and is seeing that white light. But in this one, I'm interested to see how they retcon that. But yeah, that's my one. Yeah, again, that's just my one negative of the film. But it's more of just a personal nitpick thing of like setting expectations, because now my expectations are set that this is going to be a really interesting concept. I just hope that they pay it off well. Any spoilers I would like to say is that I did not expect them to kill off the older kid. That was definitely a shocker. Like, movie has balls. The movie has definitely has balls in that they are not afraid to kill off the kids. So in that final act, it was definitely nerve wracking, thinking like, are they gonna kill any of the other kids? Because that's totally on the boards now. Yeah, no, the movie has a somewhat happy ending, or at least an ending of thinking like, well, this happened. Instead of focusing on the death, we're going to focus on the life and memory, and ultimately finding out what the way of water means. And to be honest, during this entire movie, I was totally thinking that the way of water was just some lame excuse to have James Cameron have his water fetish again. But no, they have a genuinely interesting and cool sci-fi reason for why it's called the way of water. And I was like, damn it, James Cameron. You're smarter than me again. Yeah, that's pretty much all I got to say. I will say one funny little story that happened with me in this movie is halfway through I had to use the bathroom, but I was like, I can hold it in. Not realizing that the very next scene after I thought that was when they go to the water village. So the entire movie, as water is just flowing and making a whoosh sound, I'm just here crossing my legs, just trying to focus on the film, knowing that I'm just building up a dam. But hey, I held it for the rest of that hour and a half. And yeah, and still I enjoyed the movie and I was just really invested in it. So ultimately, it's another plus that it made me not want to go to the bathroom. Take that as you will. That's all I gotta say about Avatar: The Way of Water. I know it's not one of our longer reviews, but currently I'm at home. You're getting $1 Million Media from home. Yeah, so hopefully soon we'll be getting the whole cast and crew back together. In the meantime, I'm just gonna do some of these quicker reviews of movies that I may have missed towards the end of 2022. If you're listening to this on YouTube, please like, share, and subscribe. If you're listening to this on Spotify, please subscribe and share. And if you want to, please follow us on our social media on Instagram at $1 Million Media. The more likes and followers we can get, that'd be awesome. Please let me know what else you guys would like my opinions on. I'm going to be uploading a bunch of trailer reactions that we recorded, and I hope you all enjoy those. I thought they were a lot of fun to record. Yeah, that's all I got to say. Y'all have a good day.